Alright, we gotta talk. We all keep convincing ourselves that we have time. I really don't think we do. I think death is one of those things that doesn't really grasp you as something real until you experience it. We all just live our lives. We work, try to make money, try to enjoy ourselves. But most of the time, we're just distracting ourselves from doing work or doing things we have to do. And the things that we're doing for enjoyment aren't actually fulfilling our souls. Like, it's really not enjoyment at all, it's just entertainment. I think that's a good distinction to make. Like, for all of us that are, oh, I love TV shows so much, I love watching the marathons, it's like, is that really what fulfills your soul? I think movies and TV shows at times can be exceptional. They can tell exceptional stories and show us parts of ourselves that really resonate. But, I mean, is this really what we're spending our time doing all the time? I mean, I can't think of anything in particular, even movies, where I just look back and it's like, dude, I just remember that all the time. Maybe a few movies in particular. Other than that, not really. But we just wake up every day and we just kind of live the same life, and it's like, yeah, well, one day it'll change, or one day I'll finally do something for work I enjoy. One day, hopefully, I'm found my passion. Hopefully, I find a good romantic partner. Hopefully, I can get married. Hopefully, I can have kids. And it's like you have no vision for your life, and I'm genuinely concerned as I meet more and more people. Most of us don't really have any values at all. Dating in the modern world, if you look at the way most people are going about things, we sleep with people and then we get to know them. How backwards is that? There's no intimacy, there's no connection. It's like we're all putting on a face to try and get what we want, and every time we think we get what we want, we then realize it's not what we want, and then we do the same thing over and over again, hoping we'll get a different result. I mean, of course, it's absolute insanity. And we do this for our lives in almost every capacity. We just expect something to change one day. Well, hopefully one day God's going to intervene. But most of the time we just discredit that the idea or concept of God could even exist because our life is shit, right? So it's like, oh yeah, God doesn't exist. God's not going to come and save me. It's like, yeah, honestly, yeah, probably not. Even if God doesn't exist, probably not going to come save you because you're not doing anything to help yourself evolve. You're not doing anything to expand. You're doing the same thing over and over again. So, something I've been trying to make more of a point for my life is not only getting out of my comfort zone and doing levels of work, levels of productivity, levels of focus, and certain tasks that I wasn't doing before and working on the intricacies of that, but also just getting out in the world more. I mean, I find in the building phase of my life where I'm trying to build things up, I'm getting so serious about work and just putting my head down and locking in that I realize I'm not experiencing life anymore. And look, I mean, experiencing life doesn't mean going out and partying and, oh, live your best life, try all the drugs in the world, experience as many people sexually as possible. It's like, no, go for like a walk on that nature trail that's like 15 minutes from your house that you've just been thinking about going to for like the last 2 years. You're just like, oh, I don't have time, bro. Bro, none of us have time. I mean, we don't even know if we're going to be here tomorrow. And so I think we forget that. And we're all really afraid of death, and I think it's okay to be afraid of it, but we're so afraid of it that we never want to think about it, and then we live our lives like we're going to live forever. Of course, subconsciously knowing that we're not, but I think a lot of things that we're always doing, like we're genuinely shortening our lifespan. And to be honest with you, a lot of us don't even care. I mean, I talk to more and more people that are my age now, and they're like, I'm thinking like, oh, like I hope this is what I'm like when I'm 80 and I'm filled with wisdom and blah blah. And most people I talk to, I swear to God, they're like, dude, I don't even want to live till 80. Like I want to be gone by then. I'm like, I mean, sure, I'm sure being 80 compared to being 20 or 30, when you're feeling a lot, I'm sure when you're 80, like your body doesn't feel like it used to. It's like, dude, you just don't want to be here anymore. It's like, what type of life are you living? It's like, I can only experience life through the body I have now. It's like there's no wisdom there. There's no life. And so I think we dumb ourselves down. We just think life is just all of the things that we've been told that they are. It's like, yeah, consume, do pleasurable things. I mean, especially in the work I do as a coach with a lot of my clients, like pleasure turns to pain very quickly. When you work with someone who's addicted to drugs, addicted to prawn, so on and so forth, like these things that are intensely pleasurable become painful very quickly. You talk to anybody who actually hooks up with people extensively and has never had any long-term relationships, or has ones that can never last because they don't have any value system or foundational basis for the relationships, they're not happy people. Like, we keep convincing ourselves that this is the path to happiness. Diversity is fun. And you just disconnect yourself from reality further and further, because you burn out the wiring and the potential that you have for connection with people when you're just cycling through people all the time. I mean, it's really representative that nothing is stagnant in your life. I mean, look at your mental health. Look at the way you experience life. I mean, are you really experiencing anything at all? Or is it just escaping your reality? And I think this is the reality for most of us, and of course we don't really know how to get out of it, so we just do the same things over and over again. But nothing changes if nothing changes. And again, yeah, I mean, don't expect God to come save you. I think the Bible does say that God is within you, and the kingdom of heaven is within you, something of that nature. I haven't read the Bible extensively. So if God does exist, there's a component of God within you. And so stop just reaching out all the time and it's like, God save me, but like, you're not doing anything. It's like, I just do the same thing over and over again. Oh, like I think that for some of us, things happen. Because I know for me, I was diagnosed with depression a few years back, and a few YouTube videos in particular actually sparked the fire in me to start my self-development journey and then get out of that, and then everything snowballed and really became amazing in my life. Of course, over the next year or two, it took time. So, arguably speaking, that could have been God's intervention, putting that video in my feed. So, there's actually something else to think about, is maybe God, the universe, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, is already doing things for you. You're just not paying attention. Because you're so fed up at work. You're so fed up with your shitty relationships and how your partner treats you and how you're treating yourself. And so that you don't even pay attention to anything that's there. And it's just, oh, the traffic today, dude. Oh, the person at work today. I mean, like, I'm just like, look up at the sky. And it's like, is this just not the most insane experience that we have just to exist? And we just discredit that. Like, we just wake up every day. It's like, oh yeah, another day. Another day, another dollar. Have we not? Can we remember that we just made all this stuff up? Now, obviously, you can't go to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, money is a concept that we all made up, and I'm just a slave to it, and let me just forget about it and everything. It's not that, but remind yourself that almost everything in existence that you're supposed to do was a made-up concept, and there's actually some of them that you could just throw away. I mean, for example, like you can't talk to these people. Like people are like, oh, you can't. Some people even say like, oh, you can't talk to people in the gym. Oh, you have to have 5 random interactions with the girl that you find is attractive to make her comfortable with you, and hopefully that you go there to the gym at the same time, and then eventually you can like ask her for a number. It's like, just ask her for her number. What are you waiting for? You might not be here tomorrow. She might not be here tomorrow. Maybe she switches gyms tomorrow, and it's like, why are we taking all of this advice that just puts off the work that we have to do? Small steps are essential sometimes, but don't shoot yourself in the foot if you don't have to. Don't hold yourself back if you don't have to. And so I think it's just doing more things is what we have to do. And sometimes it's in a small capacity. But I mean, seriously, just you haven't gotten out of your house in a while. It's like just going for a 15-minute walk in the morning after you get up, that can make all the difference. I know for me, just being outside here in nature, my thoughts are like cleansed. I don't experience like anxiety like that much or that often anymore. I experienced anxiety, of course, but on the extreme level, not that very often. But before I came out here, I was. And now I feel so much less anxious, simply because I am where I'm supposed to be. I mean, as human beings, we weren't meant to be inside all day, and we're all inside every day. It's like, you work in an office, you work, even if you work online, like I'm sitting on my laptop, I'm sitting on my laptop inside all day, every day. Where it's like we're burning ourselves dry of the fire in our soul that is there simply because we're a human being. Like the idea of hope and ambition, this is within all of us. Some of us just live a reality where obviously life has beaten us down to a certain point, and people of the past and situations and unfortunate things that have happened. But now a lot of those things aren't in existence anymore. They just live in our mind, and then we take the things that are living out in our mind and we project them into reality, and now we're creating the negative reality for ourselves. So I think it's really about taking our power back. And just to circle back to that idea of death, it's like, dude, it's coming for all of us, and the sooner you wake up, the better. To that it is. And I think it was some sort of Greek philosophers that were actually talking about like reminding yourselves every day of death, because obviously everyone's talking about if you can create the best reality for yourself, you have to think about what the best day is going to be like today, and doing that. If today was your last day on earth, what would you do? It's not always the most practical thing to think about 100% of the time, because of course you might think of a list of 10 extravagant things to do, which you may not do today, but maybe you can do one of them, or maybe you can start to plan out one of them if it's more of a long-term vision. But that's one of the things that I've really noticed in my past, and a lot of the guys I talk to in the community that I run, is we have no vision for our lives. We just stay in the same place, and we don't have that ambition and that spark anymore. It's actually one of my clients yesterday asked a really good question. He's like, how does minimum wage inspire people to become a better person or be ambitious, something of that nature? And I thought it was a really brilliant question, because I think for some people it does that, and for some people it does the opposite. I worked at a restaurant for quite a few years. I didn't enjoy the pay, and I also didn't enjoy the people I was working with. I didn't really enjoy any component of it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't fulfilling my soul in any capacity. But once I crafted a vision around, I want to start to make content, I want to start to do coaching, I want to start these other business endeavors, it allowed me to think about how, okay, I can start to put aside a little bit of the money that I'm making to then build this thing up, and then I can have eventually more time to do this. And then you use the experience that you're in now that's not optimal to then propel you to the place that you want to go. But if you don't create that for yourself, don't expect anything to change. It won't. And look, for some of us, a really cool opportunity may come, and then you're able to start to craft everything for yourself. But like I was mentioning before, it doesn't quite happen to all of us, and I genuinely think some of us are gifted in that capacity, and some of these things just float to us, and some of the other components really don't. So, of course, it's really important to pay very close attention to when those opportunities are flowing in. But if they're not flowing in, or at least you can't see them, start to craft and create them for yourself, because it's very possible. Now, everyone's always talking about mindset and the power of your perception. It really is. I had my friend Austin Vitello come on, who runs a bunch of teams in the insurance industry. He talked in the group coaching that I do, and he gave this one example of how this list of like 5 things kept happening to him throughout the day, and for any normal person, you could say, it would just absolutely ruin our day. And he's like, dude, I think something was wrong with his car. He couldn't take his car to work, so he essentially took his bike to work. Then something was wrong at work. Obviously, these are all things that would have, pissed most of us off by now. One of his coworkers comes up to him and says, oh, like, where's your car? I don't see it today. He's like, oh, I biked here. I put it in the back. And she's like, there's no bike back there. And he's like, oh, I guess someone stole it then. And even then, didn't let it get to him. And then he walked home that day, a couple miles, and it was a sunny day. So he's like, let me just enjoy the sun. And someone actually offered him a ride, and he declined. Just because, like, I'll just enjoy the sun. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be experiencing right now, I suppose. And so it's like, there's so many things that happen in our lives every single day that we beat ourselves up for. We get mad at these people, or so on and so forth. And it's like, we simply don't need to let these things bother us, but we let them bother us. That's the mental distinction that we don't make, is that we actually have the power to choose whether this thing ruins your day or not. There's a small segment in time when an emotional experience comes over you, for you to actually intercept that with your consciousness and choose something else. When you feel anger, when you feel sadness, to then choose positivity. Now, you don't want to completely disconnect from this. It's like, okay, if you're feeling anger, just pretend, I'm just going to pretend I'm not angry. It's not that. But it's if you can genuinely shift the way you view that to, oh, well, maybe I just was supposed to be going down this path today, or traffic is horrible and it's taking me on a detour that's an extra 15 minutes. Maybe I should enjoy the scenery. I mean, I literally yesterday, that's what happened. I was staying with my girlfriend at her apartment, and it took 45 minutes to get home instead of usually like 25, and it took me a different way. And I usually go the same way every time, so I see the same stores, I see the same restaurants, okay. And it took me on this different path. Nothing you could say absolutely extravagant, but it felt kind of extravagant because I just saw like this little arch of like a bridge. I saw like this open field with like a lot of green and trees, and you might be thinking, oh, it's like so basic, but it was just something new. Like, a lot of us, we live in the same place. We just experience, like, going back to this concept, not just experiencing the same thing in work every day. Like, you're just experiencing the same visual cues, the same noises. It's just the same. I think the human mind can really only take so much monotony. Like, there needs to be creativity input into our lives consciously, intentionally, for us to live a fulfilling life. And if we're not doing that, your life is going to suck. I was having a concept with, or a conversation with one of my, actually the first client that I've ever worked with before. He's been with me for over a year, and we were talking about long-term living arrangements, and I was just thinking to myself about owning a house. I'm like, do I really want to buy a house and stay in the same place for 40 years? How boring is that? I mean, I get it, and like, oh, you have a family now, so on and so forth. It's like, do you really have to do that? I mean, could you not travel with your family if you're making enough money, if it's sustainable, if so on and so forth? Now, this isn't a vision I have super crafted out for myself. It's only beginning steps of me thinking about it. But allow, like, the general concepts of how you're supposed to live life. Don't let it hinder you if you view something bigger for yourself. Because what most people do is they absolutely give up. They start to work a job they don't like, and then of course they don't make the money they want, and then that then translates into their relationships. Then they settle for somebody. Then you put on a ring with someone. You sign a contract with the government that you're gonna spend the rest of your lives together, and then you get divorced, and then before that you have kids, and then someone messes someone over, and it's just like, you have to look at how when one area of life is going very poorly, it's often going to infect into everything else. And that's why I think the concept of balance is like balancing in like the same area of every component being the same thing at the same time. I don't think is like, that's not beneficial, but it balance in the capacity of like, we have to do multiple things at once. It's like, okay, if you want to make a lot of money, that could be number one priority 90% of your time, but that other 10% of time, like 5% of it has to be contributed to physical health, the other 2% of this and that. It's like, we have to do these things and bring them full circle, because a lot of the things I've noticed is, of course, well, a lot of us move more and more towards the lone wolf mentality. Let me just create a beautiful life for myself by putting my head down and working and cutting off all my relationships and not talking to people anymore and just being by myself. Being by yourself can be great, because I've learned so many intricate things about my soul and about my experience of life from doing so, and it's allowed me to grow so much. But then once I started to connect with other people who were focused on self-development, it made me realize how much I was missing out on, because you can only see so many of your we have so many blind spots. You can only view and analyze so many of your insecurities and things you're dealing with and these hidden things in your subconscious, like, until you meet someone and then they poke that in you. Relationships are great for this because they show you a mirror of yourself. So that's something you'll really notice, is every single person you're in a relationship with, when you feel like you have bad choice in partners or they're treating you badly, you have to ask yourself, like, what part of me is actually putting up with this and accepting it? And are these components of how I actually treat myself when I'm not even in a relationship? It's like, oh, they're neglecting me all the time. They don't give me attention. I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. Do you ever make yourself, before you enter that relationship, have you ever made yourself feel seen or heard? Do you ever give yourself the space to express the emotional experiences you're having? Do you ever be honest with yourself about what you're experiencing? Or do you just play it off like everything's fine? And so it's like, oh, if I'm doing that, it's like, no wonder everything else in my life is going down. So I think when it comes to like crafting that vision, I mean, keep death in mind, that it's coming for us, and that we don't have time. We don't have tomorrow. Well, we have tomorrow, but it's like, you don't know if you do. So stop putting it off tomorrow. And again, I'm not perfect with these things. There's still plenty of times in which I think about doing something and I'll write it down and then I don't get to it for the next week, or sometimes it takes a month, or sometimes it takes a year. I mean, I remember the first podcast I started wasn't my own. It was with my buddy in high school. And it took us about a year and a half of just talking about it until we actually did it. Now, the beautiful thing is eventually we did it. We brought it into reality, and then that propelled me to then start my own, and then it propelled me to do all these other things in my life. So they bridge the gaps, and so you could be grateful, at least in my case, that I started it. So whatever that thing is, or those things that you're thinking about that you haven't started, make sure you start it, because, every single day that you don't start it is a day that you may be missing out on an opportunity. You may be missing out on a connection. You may be missing out on your life partner, meeting them. You may be missing out on the next business opportunity, the next best friend you can meet. I went up to my girl at a coffee shop, and I was anxious about it, but I did it anyway, and it's the most beautiful relationship I've ever been in my entire life. And I could have just walked out that day, and obviously maybe I'd be with someone else now, but if I was with someone else, I know it'd be someone not as good. And so stop letting life pass you by. So many of the opportunities are in front of you. You just have to start to open your eyes. We all have like a veil in front of our eyes. It's like, oh, life sucks. It's like, your eyes are closed. You're walking blindfolded through everything, and you think everyone else has put the blindfold over you and they're forcing it shut, but you really have your own two hands tied behind, and you're just not letting it go. And so you got to ask yourself, what limiting beliefs, what worldviews am I holding on to that I think are true, but they've never actually served me? And so, are they true? Now, the truth does hurt sometimes, but only temporarily. Because it's like, the truth of, this person doesn't actually like me. It's like, well, wait, why have you even gotten to the point where you like someone so much, in which you're heartbroken over it, and you weren't even in a relationship with each other? Or you were in a relationship. Some people just go, things were so good, and we loved each other, and then things just ended so quickly. It's like, things that are that good, they don't end that quickly. It doesn't happen. And so, question the things that you actually believe are truthful, because a lot of the times they're not. And you gotta ask, where am I lying to myself? Each and every day. Telling myself it's fine. Oh, one day I'll figure it out. Like, seriously? One day you'll figure it out? You're not doing anything to figure it out. You're probably not gonna figure it out. And it's a really uncomfortable thing to look at. Because you have to look at yourself and say, like, dude, the past 5 years, I've thought about this thing in the back of my mind, or starting this business, or, kind of spending this time developing the skill, and I just haven't done it. Because, work makes me feel drained. I'm not making the money I want. Who's going to come save you? You got to do it yourself. And, look, I'm coming from a pretty privileged position saying that. I never had to struggle with being homeless, or struggling if I was going to put food on the table and things of that nature. But even if you're in that situation, it's like, you're just going to lay down and die? That's not what a man does. And, I think reality has, and our culture has stripped us of what it means to be a man, to push forward through all of these things, despite how difficult it is. But, man, it's, if you can develop these components of yourself, life is there waiting for you to be experienced. Like, everything you want is waiting for you. You just have to grab onto it and make life happen, because it's not just going to happen to you. So I hope you guys found some of this helpful. If you're focused on self-development, improving your relationships, advancing spiritually, and you really want a group of over 50 men really doing the same thing, holding each other accountable, learning new knowledge together, I'll leave a link in the description for the group that I actually run. We hop on multiple group calls each week and do all that good stuff. So I hope to see you guys in there, and I'll catch you in the next one.